Hey guys, welcome to the God's Unchained Beta with the Professorf. Alright, today I'm going to be sharing my tips on the ranked weekend event so that we all have the same information and can do our best and improve our wins. Firstly, you can see that we have a timer here, so the ranked weekend event starts when this timer reaches 0. Once this timer reaches 0, the ranked weekend event starts, and you'll see a banner here that will say weekend, and then the timer will then change to show you how much time is left on the ranked weekend event. So let's quickly talk about the weekend ranked event. The weekend ranked event starts every Friday early morning and ends Monday early morning. So you have about 3 days to complete your games. And here are the rules of the ranked weekend. Your first 25 games that you play during the weekend event when it starts is what counts. So your goal is to win as many as you can in your first 25 games. Your rank when the weekend event starts determines what kind of prizes you will receive. And of course, you want to make sure you have a wallet linked to your account to receive those prizes. So the reason the ranked weekend event is really important is because it rewards you with core card packs and expansion card packs. So it's a good way to receive cards from the new sets without having to spend any money. Anybody can join this event and it's free for everyone. So just real quick, here are the ranks. You want to make sure you want to be at the highest ranked that you can achieve. The higher your rank, the better your prize table. So here's the prize table for those rank 11 or below, diamond and below. It caps out at 20 wins. And then here's the prize table for those at mythic, rank 12. As you can see, the more wins you get, the better your prizes. Along with that, there's special prizes for the players in the top 10 at mythic. They get extra card packs. And this is very important. This is for everybody. Anybody that wins at least 30 games total during the entire ranked weekend event will receive a bonus prize. The bonus prize is an extra rare pack, so definitely do your best to win 30 games if you can. Prizes are announced on the Discord server, usually around Wednesday of each week. And another thing, if you are short on time and you can only play 18 games or 17 games or 15 games, you can stop right there and you'll earn the prize at that prize level. So you are in no obligation to finish all 25 of your games if you don't have the time. All right, now that you're excited about the ranked weekend event, let me share my tips on how you could maximize your chances of winning the most games. First of all, you want to make sure that you're keeping a tab on the meta. On my YouTube channel, I publish a weekly meta report that breaks down what the top players did and which decks are popular and which decks are dominating the meta. In my weekly report, you can see which decks are played the most, which gods are being represented, and which ones have the best win rate and achieving the most wins. I also go over the deck list so you can see what kind of cards players are using. Once you've decided on what deck you want to use, you want to make sure that you're practicing with it during the week. Play as many games as you can to experience different matchups to make yourself comfortable and familiar with your deck. There are also plenty of resources that you can use. You could watch videos, streams, or even go into the Discord and ask questions and have people help critique and improve your deck. All right, once the ranked weekend event starts, you want to pick the best time that works for you. Some players play all their ranked weekend games on the first day, Friday. Some people think that Fridays are the toughest since everyone is playing their first 25 games and using their best decks. Some people choose to play their games on Sunday night, close to when the event is ending, because at that time, a lot of players have completed their weekend ranked events and are using various other decks to complete their flux or just play games for fun. However, a lot of the top players know this, so a lot of the top players do reserve their time for their weekend on Sunday nights. So make sure you pick a balance of what the best time is for you and knowing when the competition is playing. Once you decide on the best day for you, the first thing you want to do is you want to check the meta. So this is a website that was created by one of our community members, Third Man, also known as Gareth. He created this website called Gods Unchained right now. I will include a link in the description. And big thank you to Third Man for creating this. So he created a website that pulls all the recent matches and shows you what is being played currently, most popular. So right now we can see that 50% of the players are playing nature, and the players that are playing nature have an 80% win rate. So we have a lot of nature players right now, and they're running a pretty competitive deck at 80%. You can see magic is not being played right now, 0%. We can see that deception is being played at 20%, but with nature having such a high win rate, the deception players are only winning 25% of the time. So definitely play around with this website. It's good to understand what the meta is currently right before you start your ranked weekend games. There's filters here to play around with, so you can customize on what kind of information you want to see here. So a quick takeaway with this dashboard is that when you see something like this, you can then say, okay, nature is usually weak to death or magic, and there's currently no other magic players. So I don't run the risk of running into a magic on magic mirror matchup. So playing a magic deck right now might go very well against all the nature players. So this is one way to use this dashboard. After you get a feel for the overall meta, you can then look into the specific meta. So if you go to GU Decks and you click on the meta button up here, the meta page opens up different tabs, and you want to go into match results. You can see the list of players that are currently playing, and you can see their current MMR. So if you're rank 12 and you see some players that you recognize that you know are tough competition, or you see really high MMRs and you're not feeling comfortable, that might not be a good time for you to play. So the match results gives you a breakdown on an individual level, and there's multiple pages to look at. And one last thing to consider before playing your games is whether or not you want to hide your name. So you've probably seen this before, where some people have boxes or symbols for names. The purpose of that is to make it harder for your opponent to look you up and to look at your deck. Whether this is an advantage is debatable, since most decks are fairly standard, but if it makes you feel more secure, then just go ahead and go for it. Let me go ahead and show you how to change your name. Alright guys, so if you want to change your name and hide it, go ahead and click on the gear, and you will change your username. So you can go ahead and pick one of these symbols. Go ahead and paste that in, save it, clear cache, confirm that your name has changed to the symbol. Now when you queue and your opponent sees your name, you are now the all-powerful one box. There we go, Mr. One Box. If you want to be a little more creative, you could go ask our friend Google here. There we go. Let's go ahead and copy this. 3 symbols. Go ahead and hit save. Clear cache. Confirm that the name change has taken effect. And now we're the infamous 3 box. Here we go, Mr. 3 box. And then you could achieve your final form, the unstoppable 5 box. 5 boxes for 5 times the power. So once you've decided whether or not you change your name and you're ready for your match, the next tip is to research your opponent. Some players don't like looking up other players. Keep in mind that some players feel that researching another player's deck is unnecessary or unfair. However, just be aware that the deck information is out there in the public, so it's up to you whether or not you want to use it. So for example, let's say I queued in and I matched up with this player named Rare. All I have to do is go into the user ID field here, type in my opponent's name, Rare. Here they are. I'll click on their name, and once I click on my opponent's name, I can see the deck that they're using. So in my case, when I had played my opponent, I saw the picture of Oris pop up, so I knew that they'd be playing a war deck. So I can then go ahead and click on their war deck and see a list of what they were running. So now this ties back to what I said earlier about changing your name. Some players don't like being looked up, so they change their name, so that way it's harder for you to find them. Although it is harder, it's not impossible. So let's say that I queued up against a nature player that has 3 boxes for their name. You could go into the meta tab in the match results, and you could scroll through 5 pages of recently played and look for a player that matches the description of what you're playing. So if you're playing a nature player with 3 boxes, you could take a guess that this is probably your opponent. Or if you're queued up against a light player with 4 boxes, this is probably them. So you could go ahead and then click into their name, and then you can see the decks that we're playing. So you'll see players changing their names to various symbols and other whatnots because they really want to make it difficult for people to find who they are. But again, if you really want to find out about your opponent, you go to player stats, type in their name, or if they have a symbol for a name, you go into match results, look for a player with the description. Here's a nature player with 4 boxes. You could click on their 4 box, and you can see that this person is active, and that's probably your opponent. If you're unable to find your opponent and you've gone through all the pages, most likely what that means is they just started playing their games and they're not yet active. So you probably won't be able to find their name, but again, I think most decks are fairly known at this point. It's not too much of a surprise, but keep in mind that after the game, they show up in your recent matches. You can then find out more information about them. And you can click on previous games history to find out who they are. So just to recap, players hide their name to make it more difficult for you to look them up and look at their deck list. But there are ways to find out who they are and what potential deck that you're facing. So just in the spirit of fairness, I'm just going to throw this out there. If you are one of those players that hide your names and make it difficult for your opponent to find you, I'm assuming that you don't like people looking you up. So extend that courtesy back and don't look your opponent up. If you like looking up other players' decks to get some information, then go the other way. Extend that courtesy back and keep your name searchable so that way you could look up their deck and they could look up your deck if they want to. Again, these are just suggestions. You don't have to go by this, but it's just a thought. All right. And then while you're doing your ranked weekend event, if you're curious on how you're doing, go to the meta tab, click on player stats, type in your name, and while the ranked weekend event is going on, you'll see a counter here on the number of wins you have, and then there will be a progress bar that lights up as you get wins. So GeoDeck provides a great counter on your progress during the ranked weekend event. All right, so those are my tips on how to improve your ranked weekend event. If you have any questions or if you have any strategies that I may have missed, let me know in the comments below. I'd be interested to learn. All right, good luck on your ranked weekend event.